Welcome to the Atoms Precision V2 tutorial series. This tutorial focuses on how to perform orientation settings of an object image used in the template creation process. Orientation settings help to align the template contour accurately onto the contour of the inspection object during measurement. First, let's import an image file. Go to the Start tab, select Import Base File, and choose an image file to open. Select the Orientation tab. There are two types of orientation settings available in Atoms Precision V2. Type 1 is the default orientation setting, which is enabled by default when an image is imported. Type 2 is the advanced orientation setting, which is done manually by performing a series of 4 steps. These are setting image axes, setting start lines, setting object axes, and finally setting contour alignment. Let's see how to perform these settings. The image axes define the horizontal and vertical axes of the imported image. These axes are enabled by default, always active, and serve as reference for further orientation setting. Image axes are marked as Image X and Image Y, and the visibility of these axes can be changed in the Geometry Primitives tool panel. The two start lines define the symmetry of the object contour. To display the start lines, toggle the Start Line command in the Axes panel. The primary start line and secondary start line are aligned to the image axes by default. To define the start lines manually, click the Start Lines button in the Orientation Steps panel. The primary start line is symmetric to the template contour of the y-axis and defined by default. Manual assignment is not possible. The secondary start line is orthogonal to the primary start line and passes through the intersection of the primary start line with the template contour. If there's more than one intersection, the secondary start line can be moved using the Start Line Position dialog found in the Start Line Position panel. The two object axes are horizontal and vertical axes created by using geometry objects. To display the object axes, toggle the Object Axes button in the Axes panel. By default, the primary and secondary axes are aligned to the image axes. The primary axis is the x-axis of the object, and the secondary axis is normal to the primary axis. To define these manually, we need to identify the most stable area of the object image and create geometry objects in that area. In this example, we're going to define object axes passing through the holes in the center. To create a circle, select the Create Object drop-down list, select New Circle for mask, and mask the contour area, creating the new circle. Now select the Point at the Circle Center command from the Create Dependence panel and create 2 more circles with Point at Circle Center. To create a line passing through point 1 and point 2, select the Create Object drop-down list and select the New Line Between Points command. Select point 1 and point 2 in the Subjects panel to create a new line. Now select the New Line Between Points command and select point 2 and point 3 from the Subjects panel, creating the second line. To define the object axes manually, select Object Axes button, go to the Object Orientation Axes panel, and assign the primary axis to line 1 and the secondary axis to line 2 from the drop-down list. This completes the manual setting of object axes. Contour alignment is the third and optional step of the orientation setting process. Orientation is performed by moving and rotating commands to match the template contour with the contour of the inspection object. Contour alignment can be used with default start lines and object axes, or with manual setting of these axes. To apply contour alignment, select the Contour Alignment button from the Orientation Setting tab, which calls the Contour dialog window. To use manual alignment of start lines and object axes with contour alignment, select No. To accept automatic preliminary alignment of start lines and object axes, select Yes. This disables the manual alignment of start line and object axis. The Contour Alignment Properties window appears, containing 2 commands, Contour Cropping Mask and Pre-Orient by Centers. Using the Contour Cropping Mask command, we can set a selected portion of the contour to be calculated for alignment. This is done by masking the area that is not required for alignment calculation with the Paint tool. To erase the masked area, select the Erase button and remove the unwanted area. The Pre-Orient by Centers property from the Contour Alignment Properties panel defines how the contour of the inspection object and template will be matched. From the drop-down list, select the required pre-orientation method. If Off is selected, Atom's Precision V2 will try to match the template's and inspected object's contours freely. If On is selected, Atom's Precision V2 will calculate the center of mass for both template and inspection object to then match the contours. If Auto is selected, Atom's Precision V2 selects the Pre-Orientation by Centers mode automatically. In this case, we choose Auto and complete the contour alignment setup. In this tutorial, we learned how to set the orientation in Atom's Precision V2. Thanks for watching this tutorial, and please view the other tutorials in this series to learn more about the features of Atom's Precision V2.